Management is important because number one, it encourages initiative. We also said last time that it encourages innovation. We also say that it facilitates growth and expansion. It improves the lives of workers. It improves the corporate image. And all these are things that are real, things that you're able to see in the practicality of the running and of the management of the organization. We also say that there are a few principles of management. I believe I gave several principles of management. I believe I gave around 14 principles of management. Yeah. So it's important that we get to know these things because they are going to be quite fundamental in guiding us to understand what we need to know about SGE. The results of CPA were out yesterday. Mulipata zini? Mshapata, si ndio? Results. Mshapata. Mjangalie. Lakini kufanya it's your first time. Okay, it's a section 4. You must have gotten those for section 4. Still? Okay. Interesting. Anyway, so today we look at the management school of thought. And under the management school of thought, we shall be saying that what are the various theories of the management schools of thought? So we would want to know what are the various propositions for management. And of course, management starts very, very, very long time ago. And we do talk about 4 approaches to management. We talk about what is called the early management. We talk about the classical theory management, then the neoclassical, and then the last one, the modern or the contemporary theories of management. All these are very important and they're reliant on each other. So that at the end of the day, what was proposed during the first school of management, we see it reoccurring in the second school of management, and the third in the fourth, and so on. So when we begin managing people in earliest time, maybe say during the ancient times or the Mesopotamian time or early days, we see a focus on work. We focus on work. Yeah, the goal is productivity. How much maize are we going to get from this shamba? Where do we get the water? Then we talk about how many seeds are we going to plant. So that is the focus. The focus is on work. That is early time management. Then we come to what is called the classical management. Under classical management, we talk about what is called scientific management. Why is it scientific? Because during this time, people have started writing. There's advancement in technology. So it's more of a question of how do we make work easier? Yes, we are going to get water, but can we use donkeys rather than use people? No. We are supposed to plant seeds. Let us not just throw them, let us plant them in a particular order. So the farmers, during the ancient times, everybody would go to the shamba and farm. Now, during scientific management, we are like, no, men are stronger. Let men go and farm. Let them go and dig. The ladies are not that strong. Let them come in planting the seeds. The children, let them go and get the manure. So we start dividing work. Why? Because during scientific management, we are analyzing that work. And as we analyze this work, our question is, how do we make this work easier? How do we bring about 2 things, which is called efficiency and effectiveness? That's how. Then we go to what is called the neoclassical management. Neoclassical management, we talk about what is called the human relations movement. What is the human relations movement? We talk about a scenario whereby now, we are now asking ourselves, what is the condition of this worker during the process of working? Are they satisfied? Are they dissatisfied? What are some of the things that are motivating these workers? What are some of the things that can lead to demotivation? So we ask ourselves that, and now our focus is not only on work, but also on the work. So Then we come to what is called the modern management theories, what are called the contemporary management theories. Here now we go further to analyze, and we talk about things such as theory X and theory Y workers. Why? Because now we are realizing that we have two types of workers, probably. We have workers who are naturally motivated to go to work, and we have workers who are not really interested in doing work. So they must be threatened. They must be punished. There must be rules and regulations that are going to force them to come to work. Then we have theory Y workers, workers who are naturally motivated to go to work. So how do we deal with such kind of a worker? We give them free space, we give them lots of resources, we encourage them to be creative. We also talk about what's called the systems theory, because in modern theory, we realize that the organization is more than one system. It's a combination of various systems. We have the human side, we have the machinery part, we have so various systems of the organization combine to work together to achieve a particular goal. So that is that. That's just a brief introduction on that. And I believe we are going to be able to note down some key issues here. And then, of course, it's going to be quite interesting. So today's date, 18th, yeah, 18th June 2021. Here's an introduction. Say this. Management theory is a body of knowledge. Management theory is a body of knowledge created through scientific methods. Created through scientific methods. These were online. Are you able to receive us clearly? All right, so management theory is a body of knowledge created through scientific methods. That's all. It consists of principles and concepts. It consists of principles and concepts determined through observation of events, facts, semicolon, and the principles could be descriptive or prescriptive, and the principles could be descriptive or prescriptive. So when you talk about descriptive, to describe, I believe at one point or the other you must have gone to a hospital. You describe how you feel. Tell the nurse or the doctor, nasikia kichwa, tumbo na mgongo, kifua na magoti, si ndio? Nasikia hivi, si ndio? Nasikia ni kama sina pesa. And then after you describe how you feel, then the doctor can do an analysis or a breakdown of how you feel. If you have joint pains, headache, high fever, it is likely that you're suffering from what? Malaria, sindio? Sio kweli? Ama mmesahau hizi vitu? Ama mlikuwa mnasema ita apply in life? You ulifunzwa ukiwa class 6. Signs of diseases, signs and symptoms of diseases. No, ukikaa hivi within kama niko na malaria. Sindio? You must be able to self-diagnose. Of course, I'm not saying that you should self-diagnose all the time, but you should be having that capacity. Unasema, when nahisi nasikia ni kama. Hello, sometimes doctors can, nowadays institutions can mislead you. Hello, I don't know whether you saw what was happening around 3 years ago with a particular women's hospital in Nairobi, whose name shall not be mentioned. Yeah, you saw what was happening, isn't it? Where you have come to the hospital, you are sick, and now you're being overcharged and being put to stay in the hospital bed so that you can accrue some bills for NHIF. You saw that, yeah? So these things happen. Ethics. So when you talk about descriptive, we are saying that there is a school of management that describes how management should be. Management should have order. Management should have discipline. Management should have order of scalar chain or scalar unity. Management should have A, B, C, D, the 14 principles of management. That's how. So it describes. Doesn't tell you what to do. It only describes what management should be. And of course, in as much as these are descriptions, you have to ask yourself as a manager, do I fit the description of being management? Hello. And what is the description of being management? 14 what? 14 what? Hello, 14 what? By who? Sema Henry Fayol. Hello. Najua tunasomanga notes na nyinyi tu. Tukifunga buku mpaka tukutane. Ni sawa tu. No problem. Tutaendelea kusoma pamoja. So descriptive management gives us 14 principles of management by Henry Fayol, the father of management, and it tells us how an organization should be. Then we have what is called prescriptive. When we talk about to prescribe, who prescribes? The patient or the doctor? The doctor. You know, kama unaenda hospitali na daktari, no nipatie Piriton 10. No nipatie mara moja. Mimi niko sawa. Do you tell the doctor what to do? The doctor prescribes. No. So it tell you that prescriptive management comes from what? From experts or expertise. And it tells you what you ought to do. What you ought to do. Because at the end of the day, we are saying this, that there are scenarios in which a manager may not know what to do. And it's okay. Not everything you know what to do. Sometimes you don't know what to do. So when you don't know what to do, we have what is called prescriptive management. It tells you what to do in a particular scenario. Here we talk about something like change management. We talk about something called behavioral management. Why? Because managers are going to be in situations that they have never been in before. So you prescribe a way, a solution to deal with issues that are arising. That's how. Say this. Descriptive principles explain the relationship. Descriptive principles explain the relationship between variables. Descriptive principles explain the relationship between variables. While prescriptive principles what should be done to achieve certain results? While prescriptive principles, what should be done to achieve certain results? What should be done to achieve certain results? Yeah, you go to a doctor and akwambia, yes, you've been diagnosed with malaria. Here is the dose. Every day, in the morning and evening, take these pills for 20 days. How many of us complete those 20 days? Unamezanga hadi siku ya 12. Ukisikia vizuri, unawacha. Si ndio? Yeah. So it means that ukiacha, you have seen that you are in better condition and you'd rather not continue taking that medication, which of course is drug abuse. Yeah. Drug abuse ni misusing of drugs. Yeah. Yes. Unatumia drugs na umalizi the dose. That is drug abuse. So it would mean that in case of a reoccurrence of that condition, you're going to suffer more. But do we care? We don't. Yes. Until next time. Until what? Next time. So imagine that you have been given a prescription, but you follow that prescription. Ikifika mahali, you are no longer interested in following that prescription. Why? Because at the end of the day, we are saying this, that the managers always have a choice on how to run the organization. And the managers want to experience something called autonomy. When a manager does not experience autonomy, then they believe they are not in charge of the organization. And that's why they will always hire experts only for a while. Things, when they go back to normal, they no longer need the expert. They want to run the organization. So there you have it. Say this. We study the evolution of management for the following reasons. These are online. Are you receiving us? We study the evolution of management for the following reasons. Number one, to help avoid the mistakes that were done before. Number one, to help avoid the mistakes that were done before. So you want to avoid mistakes of the future. And that's why we study history. We study what? History. Number two, to enable comparison of the past and present. To enable comparison of the past and present, to make rational decisions. To enable the comparison of the past and present, to make rational decisions. Next, it is possible to predict what will happen. Number three, it is possible to predict what will happen. So when we study management, we are able to predict what is likely to happen. It is possible to predict what will happen. Right now, SRC. What is there on SRC? Yes? Yes. SRC na maana ni salary. Go moja. SRC, sindio? What is the SRC? Hello. Mnafuatilia hizi vitu? Hello. Ama you don't want to work there? Would you like to work there? If you're given the opportunity to work at SRC, will you agree to work there? You know, sometimes I like poking my students and challenging them and asking them these things, because at the end of the day, it seems as if your mind is focused on one particular organization, and you're saying, I will go there and only there. What if you don't go there? Have you ever applied for a job at UN? Have you ever applied a job at UN? Nice. Yes. Yeah. All right. Hello. Kwani UN ina nani sirieni? Hello. Have you ever applied a job at, say, PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC? And they pay very well. Ama unaonaga watu huko kuna connections. You must have connections to be there. Hello. It's by merit. It's by merit. Sometimes, not sometimes, actually it's by merit. Don't price yourself out of the equation. Don't price yourself out of the what? Equation. What's a connection? Maybe, there's a student of mine who saw this job. And then after they saw the job advertisement, we were together in school. And so, hey, I think kuna job ni mwana mahali. Inaka interesting. I was like, okay, apply for it, because they'd done a degree and now they were in CPS section 5. So apply for the job. They're like, okay, I will think about it. So they thought about it. He never applied for the job. So 1 week later, he told me, by then I never applied for that job. I told him, why? Squeezing ni connections. So I apply in Aja. So and that job was requiring people called accountants Roman 2. Accountants Roman. I don't know if you've ever seen such a job post. Accountants Roman 2. So later on, 2 weeks later, the job was re-advertised because they did not get enough candidates for that particular position that he was applying for. He wanted, no, for that position that he wanted to apply for. Ushomba maombi mbaya. Prayers that are wrong. Unaanza kuambia Mungu. Jokura ndo alikuwa ameapply. Sasa ni mimi apply Mungu. Na wengine wasi apply. What kind of a prayer is that? God. Mungu ni mimi apply. So you had an opportunity to apply for it. Ndio? Ukakosa ku apply, ndio? And then later on you are saying mtu mwingine asi apply. So sometimes we do praise ourselves out of opportunities, saying that no one is done. Mumefanya what is called capital market efficiency. Sindio? You've heard of capital market efficiency under financial management, chapter number 6. Capital market efficiency. Efficient market hypothesis. Jesus, hello. You've ever heard of it? Operational efficiency, informational efficiency, allocation efficiency. If a trade is going to happen at 25 shillings and everyone was expecting you to trade at 30 shillings, what is the perception of the market? You remember that thing? It just applies the same in job market. Sometimes all of you may look at a job opportunity and believe that you do not qualify for it, so most of you don't apply. So when most of you don't apply, the few that apply actually get it. And then another one, munangalini munasema this job I can get, so all of you apply. So when all of you apply, how many are going to get? A few also. No. So don't praise yourself out. So tunasema it is possible to predict what is going to happen. Why? Because we are studying first management history. That is number 3. Number 4, problems are approached systematically. Isaiah, we are at point number 4. Problems are approached systematically. Number 5, managers are able to come up with high quality decisions. Managers are able to come up with high quality decisions, So that is an advantage of studying management. The last one, managers are able to maximize profits. Managers are able to maximize profit, which is the main aim of the organization. Managers are able to maximize profit, which is the main aim of the organization. So those are the 5 reasons why we study the evolution of management. Those are the 5 reasons we study the evolution of management. 5 reasons. Somebody asked you, why do we have to look at what happened so many years ago? These are the 5 reasons that you give them. Let us go to the next issue. Say this, keep on and say this. This evolution can be grouped into 4 categories. This evolution can be grouped into 4 categories. This evolution can be grouped into 4 categories. A, early management. Early management. B, classical management. Classical management, 1900 to 1920s. Next one, C, neoclassical theories. or classical management theories. When did this happen? 1920s to 1950s. The T stands for theories. T, contemporary. Contemporary. AKA modern management theories. This one, 1950s, up to date. Yes, up to date. Those are the four major categories of management theories. Those are the four major categories of the management theories. Yes. Yes. So, tuchukue ya kwanza. Let us begin with the first one. Early stroke pre-classical theory. The first one, early stroke pre-classical theory. Yes. All right. So, what is the early management theory? What is early management theory? Say this in a short statement. There is no documented evidence. There is no documented evidence. There is no documented evidence of the specific principles that were applied during this time. There is no documented evidence of the specific principles that were applied during this period. However, it is evident that management existed during this period. However, it is evident that management existed during this period. Yes, A. Roman 1. The Roman Empire. Roman 1, the Roman Empire. What about the Roman Empire? Yes. Hello. We talk about, it is the Roman Empire that ushered in the new world of today. Say that. It is the Roman Empire that ushered the new world we know today. It is the Roman Empire that ushered in the new world that we know today. From Rome, the capital, the empire coordinated. Management of the empire, coordinated management of the empire to a great degree of success. That's how. They were able to control trade. Comma, military expansion, and had a currency, whose value changed depending on the economic conditions. whose currency changed based on the economic conditions. So we're talking about the Roman Empire. And the Roman Empire was very extensive. Hello. Anywhere, they say this, anywhere Rome stepped, that was Rome. And you can see that we have 3 countries in Europe that I'm going to illustrate. Number 1, we have England. Number 2, we have Scotland. That's how. That's how. And here we have Wales. So here we have 3 countries. When the Roman Empire comes in, they conquer England. So England becomes part of the Roman Empire. So what happens? Because England is now under the Roman Empire, they appoint someone from Rome to rule over their city. They don't dismantle the existing organizational structure. The entire structure that is of England remains to be. So what happens is that now they appoint someone from Rome to run this city on their behalf, to run this country on their behalf. And England is connected to trade. Hello, Romans bring in their ships. They trade in whatever is inside here or what they have. And this country grows. Then here we have Scotland. Scotland resists the Roman Empire. They fight them. So which means they are never conquered by the Roman Empire. So what happens? They are isolated from civilization. So when they are isolated from civilization, it means they don't have access to the world trade, which means their economic development is slower than the one of England. 100 years later, this one is more developed than this one. Hello, are you on the same page? So we are saying that at the end of the day, this institution called the Roman Empire, from Rome, a small city in Italy, they conquer the entire. In Africa, they conquer Egypt, they conquer Algeria, they conquer the top countries there in Africa, Sultan Nizam. They conquer them. And what happens is this: when Rome comes to Kenya, they conquer Kenya, and then we become Romans by assimilation. So when our children grow, the language that they are taught is what? They are taught how to speak like Romans. Which education system do they attend to? The Roman education system. So when they grow up, who are they loyal to? Are they loyal to the country Kenya, or are they loyal to Rome? They are loyal to Rome. And they become soldiers of Rome. So they are soldiers of Rome, but born where? In Kenya. And then they have a system of, in the military, they have their own system. That is Rome. Huyu, hivo, zikipangana juu. And there's motivation to go up the what? The chain. And if you go up the chain, you go to what is called the Senate. And the Senate is in Rome. And in the Senate, we have the top dogs who run the empire. If you become a top military officer, you no longer become a military officer, you convert now, you go to politics. Under politics, there's an entire chain of politicians for Rome. And there's an entire chain of military officers. And this is prior to 1900. Altogether, they must have had management. How did they control that? Gold inatoka, wanachukua gold from these top African countries, Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt. They get gold from there. Your gold inapelekwa Italy, inatengeneza coins. Hizo coins watu wanapatiwa through exchange and barter trade. One gold coin inatoshana hivi is equivalent to a particular amount of goods. A gold coin equivalent to this. There is a silver coin. Hello, hata hizo chalizo juu ya silver coins. Unadhani hizo silver coins zilikuwa za kina nani? During the time of Jesus, who was ruling over Israel? Who crucified Jesus? Hello, who crucified Jesus? Who? At Judas. Who crucified Jesus? Yes. Yes. And who crucified Jesus? The Romans. Which Roman? Which Roman ordered for the execution of Jesus? Pontius. Pontius Pilate. Hello. Hello. So you see Jesus being crucified, and who's in charge of this crucifixion? The Romans. Why is it not that the Pharisees and the Israelite judicial system, why are they not the ones crucifying Jesus? Because they're not the ones with the power of crucifixion. Who has the power of crucifixion? The Romans. So the Romans come in, they establish their own system in your country, and you still get to run your own system. So there are two systems working together, but they have greater power over you. No. So that was that. That was very early management. Number Roman 2. Chinese Empire. The Chinese Empire. The Chinese Empire. Yes, the Chinese Empire. Say this. The construction of the Great Wall of China, the construction of the Great Wall of China, the construction of the Great Wall of China could not have taken place without sophisticated bureaucratic management structures. The construction of the Great Wall of China could not have been completed without sophisticated bureaucratic organizational structures of today. So there you have it. We are saying this, that around China we have what is called the Great Wall, and it could not have been accomplished without the sophisticated bureaucratic organizational structures of today. So how long did the Great Wall of China take to build? Do you think it took 1 year to build? Do you think it took 3 years to build? How many kings were there who supervised the construction of the Great Wall? Why were they even building that wall? Protect themselves against their enemies. Who decided they are going to build a wall? Where were the materials coming from? Who was in charge of the labor? Who was in charge of construction and mapping? Ndio wall itapitia wapi. Kama nadhani constructions happens hivyo tu. There must be planning. Huwezi jenga. Hello, jaribu kujenga bila plan. Utaachia nyumba katikati. You must have a plan. That's why mnasoma vitu kwa management quantitative analysis, vitu kama PAT. What is PAT? Project, evaluation, review, technique. Sindio? Mnasoma something called CPM. What is CPM? Critical path method. Yes. A. Yes. B, C, D, I don't know, E. No. These are the things that tunasoma, sio? Kama ni mimi nilisoma peke yangu. Sometimes ninakuja kujua na simbanga watu. Na kukumbusha vitu zilikuwa zinawatesa. A, B, C, D, E, F. How do you arrive at F? How do you arrive at F? Yes. Which is the shortest way to arrive at F? See there? And then we have values. See there? Yes. These are the things that they were doing. They must have done these things because how do they build the wall? How? And that wall took over 125 years to build. Over 100. And during that time, over 3 or 4 rulers were present. And still those rulers, despite them being present, the construction went on. The construction was done also through slave labor. Stones zilikuwa zinatoka wapi? How many stones? Walikuwa wanajua how many stones were needed at which point? They must have done management. Otherwise, bila management, sikutakuwa na shida. Yes, so that was that. The next one, Roman 3. Yes, number 3. The pyramids of Egypt. The pyramids of Egypt. You have seen them. They're a marvel. Yes. We talk about the pyramids of Egypt. They're a marvel. Why? How do you build that? Unaziaga chini ama unaziaga juu? I used to think when I was young, ilikuwa inajengewa mahali alafu inakuja inaangushwa chini. How do you build that? Say this. They could not have been completed. They could not have been completed without sophisticated principles. They could not have been completed without sophisticated principles. Say this. Running of the Egyptian monarchy i.e. from Pharaoh to Pharaoh, from Pharaoh to Pharaoh, from Pharaoh to Pharaoh. From Pharaoh to Pharaoh. Required transitional management. There must be management. Even in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, we see management. There's a young boy called Joseph, and Joseph is sold by his brothers, his 11 brothers. He's sold to Egypt. You know, when he goes to Egypt, he goes into the house of somebody of Egyptian man called Potiphar. You know, is that true? Yes. And Potiphar's wife anaangalia vibaya, anasema anataka ujamaa. People nowadays think only women are. People normally think it's only men that are women. Sometimes women are after men. And it can be very dangerous. Whenever the dynamics are changing, it's very dangerous. So there you have it. And after Joseph leaves the house of Potiphar, he goes on to become a very prominent man in Egypt, and is in charge of something. He's given responsibility to store the grain, to allocate how the grain shall be. Why? Because he's anticipating 7 years of famine. So during those 7 years of plentiful harvest, alikuwa na dream. Pharaoh alikuwa na dream ya 7 fat cows and 17 cows. And he needed this guy to interpret that dream. After he interpreted, they brought in management. Jamaa akasema during these 7 years, lazima tupande, na tupande vizuri, to harvest, tuiweke kwa store, na tujipange. So that wakati kuna famine, we don't die. And during that time, the only place that had food was Egypt. Dunia mzima ilikuwa na njaa. And this guy is in charge of that. There's a system of management. So that is that. The last one, the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church. The Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is a very exemplified form of management. Yes, Catholic Church. You are not allowed to read the Bible. It is the priest who is going to read the Bible for you. See, during that time, it's easy. You can read your Bible for yourself. During that time, only the priests, only the fathers read the Bible. And they are the ones to read the Bible, interpret the Bible, and tell you what the Bible means. There's a structure. Father, priest, nun. For you to become a priest, you must go to school and study for a particular number of years. It's a form of management. Hello. The Catholic Church is coordinating from Rome. Wanasema today we are going to read verse this of this in the book of this. Na dunia mzima inasoma that verse. Kweli ama uongo? Kule mawongo. It's a form of management. Na wajaanza leo, na wajaanza jana, very many years ago. Hello. So this is the Lord's Prayer, and it shall be said like this. Hello. And now they printed the Bibles, and they said these Bibles should go all over the world. The Bible called the Gideon's book. Msome Bible inaitwa Gideon's. Kale kadogo hivi nyonezeka kwa mfuko. Ushona ka Bible. Ushipata moja ukiwa Sunday school. Kama mjenda Sunday school. Hello, ushenda Sunday school. Ushipata ka Bible kadogo. Yes. Hello. Yako lishatupanga. Hello. Ushipata ka Bible. Hata ukiwa high school labda ulipatiwa wengine. Lakini wewe ni nani? Hello. So those Bibles give you Catholic Church. Why? Because they want the mass to be educated. They want to spread Christianity. How do you spread Christianity? Today's people can read. So print out Bibles, give them to the world. Make it small. Make sure everybody can get it. Look at that. Form of management. The church is managed. How many church it is not managed? At what time do you arrive at church? Unafika church saa ngapi? Sasa ikianza ni saa ngapi? 10 o'clock. Ukifika, what's the first thing you do to the seat? Unaangalia kama ni safi. Nani bangusa? Asiwe ni bangusa. Unaangalia seat kama ni safi. Nani bangusa your seat? Somebody. Who's somebody? Have you ever bothered to know who's that somebody? When you look at your church, there are curtains. Are those curtains clean or dirty? Clean. Who washed them? Somebody. At your church, there is electricity. Is it paid for? Ama mnapatanga stima ya bure tunini wa Yesu. Do you pay Kenya Power? Who pays Kenya Power in your church? Nani alipanga hizo bills? Water, rent. Who does that? Hello. The chairs are arranged. Who arranged those chairs? Somebody. Senior. Is this somebody, all the somebodies? Is it that somebody wants somebody? Ama there are different somebodies? At your church on Monday, this is the activity. On Wednesday, this is the activity. On Friday, this is the activity. And on Saturday, this is the activity. And even on Sunday, there is this first service, second service, third service. Na church ikiisha inabaki hapo ama inafunganga. Anafunganga. Na turn off the lights. It's a form of management. Ancient management. Ya mwisho, the army. The army. The army is the last one that you're going to look at because these are things that have been existing for a long, long time. The army. So the army shows a well-defined hierarchy of authority. Tunaenda to Catholic Church. Have you written anything on the Catholic Church? Okay, write this. Write this on the Catholic Church. From the Pope to the congregation, write this on the Catholic Church. From the Pope to the congregation, there is a well-defined hierarchy of authority. There is a well-defined hierarchy of authority. And duties from the top to the bottom. And duties from the top to the bottom. And duties from the top to the bottom. Let us go to the army. Next one, the army. What about the army? The army shows a well-defined hierarchy. The army shows a well-defined hierarchy of authority and duties. A well-defined hierarchy of authority and duties from the top to the bottom. From the top to the bottom. So in the army, we see a very well-defined hierarchy. Who's the head of the army? Hello, who's the head of the army? The general. Is it the general? Or is it the chief commander? Commander in chief. So we have the head of the army, who's a military personnel, maybe the general, and then for a country, we have the head of the military, who is a civilian, who is the president, who is the what? Chief command. Why is that distinction? If the president dies today, who will be the head of the military? The general. Until there is transition of power. When the president dies, who's supposed to take over? The deputy. If the deputy is not there, who takes over? Speaker of National Assembly. If the speaker, there's a hierarchy. Why is this hierarchy there? To ensure that there is order, there is authority, there is discipline. In an army, all soldiers are supposed to follow orders. You don't question orders. You don't question orders. I have a friend of mine who is in the military. I met them sometime last year. And we were just eating stories. As we were eating stories, he said something to me that terrified me to the bone. He told me, if today I'm given an order and told there's a man here called so and so, can you describe? Me, I don't ask why, I just execute the order. Right together. Honey, you don't question. This guy could be the army right now. I'm an intelligence officer. Anatumia SMS anajua. Bazaar house, third floor. Lady in brown, black, heavy. Yes. We was talking about building. And I only see why. They just execute the order. Why? Because that is how they've been trained. They've been trained to execute orders. They've been told to follow it. So there's a system that is going on all there. So we even go ahead to say that management actually borrows a lot from the military. I'll answer that question. Management borrows many principles, at least 6 from the military. Let me mention them now that we are here. There's the principle of order. It is borrowed from the military. There's the principle of scalar chain. Scalar chain is borrowed from the military. There's a principle of discipline. It is borrowed from here. There's a principle of remuneration. Soldiers, not all soldiers are paid the same. There's another principle. I think you can be able to know because last time is the highlight part. So those are some of the principles that are in the military that were even borrowed and brought into management. Because in the military, there is management. And then from that military, we borrow those principles and we apply them to managing our organizations. So that is that. That's just a brief introduction to that issue. Let us go to number B. Classical theories. Classical theory. Let us go to number 2. Classical theories. Guys who are online, are you okay? Are you good? You can type there, chat. Hello. You know, when you lecture somebody, you must get feedback. Zakaku unapiga kelele hapa peke yako na receive audio. Kimaliza nakwambia we don't receive any audio. You have to repeat. We will not. That's why nashinanga nituliza. So let us look at the classical theories. So now that this is prior 1900, and we have some evidence about it. So we come to what is called the classical management. So, and the classical management, we talk about 3 schools. Say this. Classical theory happened during the Industrial Revolution. Which took place in Europe. During the second half. of the 18th century, which took place during the second half of the 18th century. There was rapid growth and expansion. There was rapid growth and expansion of organizations, and it involved production of goods and services. And it involved production of goods and services. This created the need for management techniques. Yeah. This created the need for management techniques that would integrate technology, materials, workers in a productive manner. This created the need to have management techniques that would integrate technology, materials, and workers in a productive way. So you can imagine this. We have been farming. These are a group of farmers. We have, am I forgetting your name? We have, is it Bernard? Not Bernard, Kelvin. See that? You are Kelvin. Yeah. Is he early morning? Thiongo. Yes, Thiongo. Yes. So we have Thiongo, we have you. We are all farmers. So we used to have jembes. We alikuwa na jembe, we alikuwa na fork jembe, she had a panga, maybe ulikuwa na rake, mimi nilikuwa na maybe slasher. Those are the tools that we had that tulikuwa kwa shamba we are farming. Now here we are today and we have a caterpillar. That's how we have a machine that can do all our work. Inawekwa pale, inawekwa makaa or charcoal, steam, inaguruma, inachimba faster than we could. Does that mean that we are no longer necessary? Look at that. Look at that. People used to move from point A to point B using chariots. Chariot yenye inavutwa na farasi or a donkey. Now here we have motorcars. Inaguruma, inabeba people from point A to point B. Does it mean that we no longer need those chariots and those horses? Look at that. So we are saying that it is during this time that we see technology coming about. And if you can remember your history from Form 2, during that time, we learned a lot of inventions. So these inventions meant that there was a need for management. Why? Because you can't bring in technology to the workplace, it will change the dynamics of the workplace. You must manage that technology. And here we have the internet today. And we have a Zoom class ongoing, same time a physical class. How did the guys who are online get to know how they are going to attend this class? They must have had an orientation. They must have the technology. They must have the know-how. We must have proper lighting. They must be illustrated on the photo. Why are all these things necessary? Because if we have the technology there and it is not managed, it's not going to be useful. That's what our user is. The audio clear? Are you receiving me? Is this like this? Why? It's a form of management because I may be going on and on and on and on, and they're not receiving it. See that? So you must be able to manage that technology. Say this. Classical management theories. Classical management theories evolved to solve problems. Of organizational efficiency. Evolved to solve problems of organizational efficiency. Therefore, we talk about the three schools of thought. Therefore, we talk about the three schools of thought. So to condemn classical management, I don't want to lose you here. We are under classical management, and we are talking about three schools of thought. Here they are. Number one, administrative school of thought by who? Henry Fayol. So, number two, scientific school of thought by Frederick Taylor. Henry Grant, William and Frank Gilbert. Walikuwa couple, husband and wife. William and Frank Gilbert, they were a couple, and the wife was a PhD holder. Lillian and Frank Gilbert, husband and wife, and the wife was a PhD holder, and the husband was a dropout. Can that happen today? But yes, you need Jesus in your life for that to happen. It can't happen to you. Number three, bureaucratic school of thought by somebody called Max Weber. Hizi ukishika hivyo utakosa marks kama 7 ama 8 kwa kila exam. Every exam 6 to 8 marks from these things. Either wakulize kuhusu administrative school of thought, ama wakulize kuhusu scientific school of thought, or they ask you about the bureaucratic school of thought. So the main things that we need to know there are, number one, who are the contributors? Contributors ni nani? The persons. So to listen their contributions, their what? Contributions. If you listen their contributions, you will give the advantages of what they proposed. Contribution na maanisha nini? Advantages of what they proposed. Or you can be asked the shortcomings, or aka the criticism. You happy? It was not sufficient. It was not what? Sufficient. Because they will propose something. If they propose something, it can work, yes, but it has a shortcoming. So your shortcoming, unapatanga unaulizwa for exam. Your contribution, unapatanga unaulizwa for exam. That is the question to be asked in that. Hello. When I started the class, I was asking about whether you received results yesterday, because yesterday I was receiving very messages from my students telling me results are out. Yes, and some of them were very happy. Some just wanaanga students wakipita mtihani anafurahia sana. Ni kama kupita si kawaida. Hello. Mtihani ya CASNEP, sio? CASNEP ni nani? Hello. CASNEP ni nani? So there you have it. So let us start with the first. Now usi confuse hizi vitu. Usianze kusema administrative school is classical school. Usiseme scientific school is classical school. No. All these are schools of thought under classical management theories. Sometimes you are told list 4 theories of management. Unaweza kusema early management, administrative, scientific, bureaucratic, content flow. This is all ziko under classical management. Sasa yes. So tuchukue ya kwanza, administrative school of thought. Administrative school of thought. Kuna notes niliwatumia, muliziona? Hello. Kuna notes niliwatumia, muliona? Muliziona? Yeah? Muliziona? Uliona hizo notes? Ulizifungua? Sure. How many pages was it? 12 pages. Or umefungua zizi? There were 13 pages. Very good. Yeah? Yeah? Yes. So I hope mtaangalia hizo notes. Sasa muangalie hizo vitu. Administrative school of thought. Say this. The main proponent of this school of thought was Henry Fayol. The main proponent of this school was Henry Fayol. AKA the father of management. Fayol was a French mining engineer. Sometimes a student asks me another time, why do I have to give that story that Fayol was a mining engineer? And I'll tell you right now, Fayol was a French mining engineer and served as the director of a French coal and iron farm. Director of a French coal Yamaka, C-O-A-L, coal and iron farm. During this time, he wrote a book titled General Industry Management. He wrote a book titled General Industry Management. He proposed the basic functions of management. Planning, organizing, directing, staffing, controlling. During this time, he proposed the basic functions of management. P-O-S-D-C. P-O-S-D-C. Along with 14 administrative principles. So there you have it. See this. He concluded that all activities in a business could be divided into 6 major categories. He concluded that all activities in an organization could be divided into 6 major categories. Number one, commercial. i.e., in essence, buying and selling. Roman 2, financial. Number 2, financial, i.e. sources of funds. Sources of funds and their use. Number 3, technical. Technical, i.e. production and operations. Technical, production and operations. Number 4, management. POSDC. What is POSDC? What is POSDC? Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Good. Now 5, accounting. What is accounting? Maintaining records. Yeah, an organization must have records. It is the records that will act as the memory of the organization. You must have a memory. And the organization too must have a memory. The next one, and the last one, number 6, security. Security. Maintaining and enforcing security of assets and information. Security. Maintaining and enforcing security of assets and information. So baadaye tukikuja kwa strategic management. Strategic what? Tunajua concept inaitwa SG. Strategy, governance and ethics. Tukikuja kwa SG, strategic management, we will be looking at something called the balance scorecard. Balance what? Score. And these ones tutaziona under the 4 perspectives of a balanced scorecard. We will see the financial perspective. We will see the business growth perspective. So we will see the learning perspective. We will see the internal growth perspective. And we'll see something called the customer perspective. So why are we seeing these 4 things? Because under the balance scorecard, we will see previously managers used to focus only on the financial perspective, and that was wrong. Why? Because an organization is more than finance. We must think about the customers. We must think about the learning. We must think about business internal growth perspective. That's all. Later on, under strategic management, we shall learn something called Boston Consulting Group Matrix. We shall be looking at the 4 cells: cows, cash cow, dogs, stars, question marks. And we shall be asking ourselves, where are business categorized in these 4 cells? And we shall be referring to what Fayol proposed as a criteria of separating business units into those 4 categories. Hello? So, later on, we shall be looking at the 6 steps of management. And step number 4 is what is called strategic implementation. Strategic what? Implementation. And under strategic implementation, for implementation to work, there must be something called organizational structures. Where do we get organizational structures from? We borrow from Henry Fayol's propositions. So all this management is okay, but when we look at strategic management, it's an advanced form of management. It's what? An advanced form of what? Something totally new. This is the foundation of management. It was built on this. Say this. Skip and say this. Fayon also identified qualities that managers need to perform effectively. Fayon also identified qualities that managers need to perform effectively. Number one, physical qualities. During this time, a manager must be physical. During this time, a manager must be physical. Say this: physically sound, healthy, smart, energetic, average height. Average height. Physical qualities make a manager assertive and pleasing. Physical qualities make a manager assertive and pleasing. Look at that. When in a relationship, that you must be assertive and pleasing. Hello. Hello. When we are choosing our partners, yes. When we are choosing our what? Our partners, what do we look for? Hello, women. What do you look for? Quality number one. Appearance. What do you mean appearance? Elaborate. How must they be looking? Tall and handsome. They must, when you say tall, do you mean tall like to the sky or taller than you? So if you are 4 meters tall, no, sorry, if you are 1.5 meters tall, you're looking for a person who's 1.6, 1.7, 1.8. Senior, why aren't you looking for somebody who's 1.3? Why? Why? No. Shorter than you, why not? Why not? No, so you see, don't say compatibility, because compatibility is not an issue. You will be compatible. I get that. Trust me, will be compatible. Hello, it's a matter of preference. You'd want that. No. Hello. When you're looking for your partner, what are the qualities that you're looking for? What are the characteristics? Number one characteristic is what? Physical what? Appearance. Did you know that? Ama mnajidanganya looks don't matter. Looks matter. Hello. Kama looks don't matter, asubuhi ungeoga, haungevaa nguo, haungechana nywele, haungepaka mafuta uso, ungepaka ringi, ungekuja venye ulikuwa umeamuka with your true face. Hello. But no, you took some time to take care of yourself. Why? Because physical appearance matters. Did you know that? It matters a lot. And that's what Nasema that Henry Fayon says that when you're looking at a manager, the number one characteristic of a manager is that the physical qualities. You must be physically sound. Because can you imagine having a manager who's not physically sound? Jamani anakuwa mgonjwa kila saa. Hello. Jamani mjamaa tuseme they are obese. Obese inamaanisha that they are overweight. Kuku hivi. It is natural. It is natural. It is natural for you when you meet somebody who's in authority and he wants to rule over you and you're obese, you're going to resent that. Because if you're going to be physically fit, or physically fit from the look of things, from your frame, you're physically fit. If you are to have a manager and they are obese, and they are giving you orders, you're going to be resentful. You not want to take those orders. Did you know that? So why? Because it matters. And that's what I'm being that at the end of the day, during this time, when they used to pick managers, they used to pick tall managers, strong managers, managers with a big frame. Why? Because when you have a big frame, you command easily. You command what? easily. Hello. You see, when men here, 1, 2, 3, when we're in high school, when you're not high school, ukitoka primary school, when ulikuwa bazu wa school yenu, si ndio? Si ndio? Na hata huko bazu kuna mali ulikuwa kwa chain, si ndio? Kuna watu kuchokoza na kuna watu pia unaweza chokoza. Kuelewa wangu? There's a chain, si ndio? So when we went to high school, during the first year, sisi ni form 1 si wote. Na form 2 wanatutishia. Lakini bado sisi among form 1s kwenye wanatutishia. I think that. And because of that, because of men needing to exert physical dominance, there was a chain that was established. And with that chain of knowing that this person is in the row as a bigger sana, there was discipline and there was order. Ulikuwa unajua kuna soneza kuambia na wasiwezi kuambia. Na ulikuwa unataka kwa line yako utaki vita. Kule maongo. Kule maongo. Na ndio ukifika form 4, yes only form 4 bado, lakini kuna form unaweza kutana naye form 1 kwenye anatoshana. Mambo yako hivi katanuka. So such a. And because of that, there's discipline and disorder, and there's what is called respect. There's a lot of respect among men. Why? Because of that physical appearance. You know, ujamaneza nipika. Ujamaneza pikana. Ikiharibika. Now, among women, that is lacking. Why? Because among women, there isn't a lot of physical domineering over each other. And that's why you find women in a high school from 1 and from 4. In high school, boys, you won't find that. But if you mahali from 1 and from 4, something critical must have happened. Because from 1 knows only from 4. Hata kama naweza mpiga na from 4 exactly. What are they doing? No force. But for women, that is not present. And that's why this day, we ask her, kuna form 1 hadi wale wanamchukia bado. Form 1 fulani kalikuwa ananiuzi. So, assertiveness comes with what? Physical qualities. So, if you want to be a manager, you must have the physical form. You must work for it. Because if you can't, even from your dressing as a manager, you must command. Because if you don't command, no one is going to take you seriously. And if no one takes you seriously, how do you manage? How do you manage? And that's why you see when managers are interacting with their employees, they maintain some form of distance between them. Because wakizoeana, their assertiveness goes out of the way. Anakuambia unamwambia. So Henry Fayol says, number 1, there must be physical what? Quality. But that's something called the Behavioral School of Management, probably next week on Thursday or Friday. Behavioral School of Management. You can learn the Behavioral School of Management. I'm explaining this because some easy characteristics will be borrowed inside here. You see how they influence the behavior of employees. Say this, number 2. Moral qualities. Moral qualities. A manager should be honest and a person of integrity. A manager should be honest and a person of integrity. A manager should be honest and a person of integrity. Number 3, mental qualities. Mental qualities. A manager should be intelligent, wise, and quick. A manager should be intelligent, wise, and quick. Alafu next one, general knowledge. General knowledge. A manager should have knowledge and skills which are an asset to the organization. A manager should have knowledge and skills which are an asset to the organization. Cheers. Good. There you have it. There you have it. There you have it. So when you look at those 5 or 4 qualities of a manager. I want to take you back to what is called the skills of a manager. What are the skills of a manager? Yes. Conceptual skills, diagnostic skills, communication skills, interpersonal skills, technical skills. Those skills, those skills. If you look at those skills, number 1, conceptual skills, skills of a manager, conceptual skills, diagnostic skills, interpersonal skills, technical skills, this will be summer last week, communication skills. If you look at them, and you look at these qualities that a manager has, if you have these qualities, you're definitely going to have those skills. That's all. Are you together? If you have these qualities that Henry Fayol says a manager must have, if you have those qualities, then definitely you find yourself having these skills. Conceptual skills, that is general knowledge and mental qualities. Diagnostic skills, that is all about being able to be an asset to the organization. Interpersonal skills is all about integrity and being honest and being able to provide a leadership role. We talk about technical skills, we talk about communication skills. All these skills are necessary. So that's the first person, Henry Fayol. Question. What are the contributions? Question. What are the contributions of Henry Fayol? What are the contributions of Henry Fayol to management? 8 marks. What are the contributions of Henry Fayol to the School of Management? 8 marks. Alafu ushinde kujibu hiyo swali nitafanya kucheka. Ukiulizwa the contributions of Henry Fayol, what answers are you supposed to give? Alisaidiaje management? There are very many ways. There are at least 14 ways. There are at least what? Do you know those 14 ways? Do you know them? Ushikazisikia? Hello, ushizisikia mahali? Those at least 14 ways of helping managers. Do you know them? Yeah. So let us go to the next one. Scientific school of thought. Scientific school of thought. Number 2. Scientific school of thought. When you talk about scientific school of thought, nimesema hapo ndani we have 3 contributors. Number 1, andika hapo hyphen, Frederick W. Taylor. Frederick W. Taylor. Frederick W. Taylor. Roman 2, andika Henry Grant. Henry Grant. Roman 3, Frank and Lillian Gilbert. Roman 3, Frank and Lillian Gilbert. So, introduction statement, say this. Scientific management is that kind of management. Scientific management is that kind of management that conducts business, by standards established by facts, and truth, through systematic observation, experimentation, and reasoning. The focus of SST, the focus of Scientific School of Thought, SST, is management of workers and work productivity. So that is going to be our issue when we meet tomorrow. When we meet tomorrow, we will look at the scientific school, tumalize yote, and then the bureaucratic school. Yes, so please go and check the notes that I sent you. Usiangalie tena vizuri. There are issues that, of course, I might have overlooked, such as the origin stories of what these guys were doing. So you'll be able to read on that, stories, and get to see where these people are coming from, the years they were born, and all that. And then when we meet tomorrow, I will look at their major contributions to management. So as I went up this class, when we talk about scientific management, tulisema management is a science, ndio? Kumbuka tulisema management is an art, management is a science, management is a profession. So when you say the management is a science, we gave 4 reasons why management is a science. 4 reasons. 5 reasons why management is a science. Because it's a body of principle. Number 2, test of validity and time. Number 3. Yes. Number 3. Management is a science. Yes. Universal validity, experimentation and observation, cause and effect relationship, test of validity and predictability, and then systematic body of knowledge. Those are the 5 reasons why management is a science. We are going to see those 5 reasons today. When we look at scientific school of management, we will be able to see those 5 reasons. Here we have new approach to management. We are studying management because Henry Fayol proposed 14 principles of management. But after he proposed that, we have given somebody work. But when is work too much work? Hello. We have given someone a duty, but do they have the skills to execute that duty? We have appointed a manager based on physical appearance, but do they have the technical capacity? So under scientific management, we shall be looking at 4 things. Number 1, we normally say you must design jobs scientifically. You must design job what? Scientifically. Tengeneza job scientifically. This is the job accountant. Under accountant, I need the several skills. Skill A, B, C, D. I need the following competencies, A, B, C, D. Design that job. After you design that job scientifically, you know everything the job requires. Number 2, take the worker and train them scientifically to do that work. Train them. Wakati utakuwa unafanya hii kazi, this is what I will require you to do. A, B, C, D. Train them. Number 3, match the scientifically designed job with the scientifically trained worker. Notice sasa. Then number 4, motivate, remunerate, monitor, and then adjust if need be. That is scientific management. Hello. You can have a shamba. Hello, at the village, shamba kubwa 5 acres. Unakuja unaangalia shamba yako, unaona hapa hivi kutahitaji kulimwa na tractor. Hapa kunaweza limwa na watu. Hapa si lazima kulimwe. You get the workers. Wafuze kulima. Wakutractor, wapeleke shule wafuze kutumia tractor. Akishafunzwa kuja, mpatie tractor nataka ulime hapa. Then monitor. Wenye umefunza kulima waambie sasa nataka mpande hiyo cotton ama garlic hivi venye niliwafunza. Monitor them, motivate them, adjust where need be. That is scientific management. Sasa because the previous one was saying patia mtu kazi. Atenda afanye, bora umemwambia kazi atafanya. But now we are asking ourselves, is there a time that reaches you've given somebody work, they know how to do the work, but they don't achieve maximum productivity? Because in science, we want to achieve maximum productivity. We want to minimize wastage of resources. So how do we minimize wastage of resources? We study the work scientifically, and then we come up with a proposal on how to ensure we are able to move forward. So that is that. Any question? Uko sawa? Hello. Hey guys, feel it. I'm going too fast. Am I too fast? Am I too fast? I should slow down. I'm speeding. So that is that. We shall be able to meet tomorrow early, and then we'll be able to finish up on scientific school and also bureaucratic school in Dogo. And then hopefully by next week, I'll be through with these schools of management. Sasa niingia mambo ya strategy management. Strategy what? Management. Sasa, yes. So, did you get the past papers? Ulipata? Mnaziangalia? Kama mnangoja tuangalie pamoja. Sawa tu. Ngoje tu. Tuangalia pamoja. Sawa. So, let us end our class at that point, and then we meet next week. Guys who are online, have a good evening and a good day ahead. See you guys later. Yeah. Haya. Tuonane baadaye.